So this is the new T3D system that was made by Josef Pelz. It's like, actually, I just want to show you quickly. So it basically allows you to do, skip this update, allows you to do like Touchdesigner standard feedback processes and stuff as you would usually do in Tops. So like you would do a feedback loop normally. I don't know. He does a reaction diffusion version on YouTube, but like allows you to just do feedback loops and noise and compositing and all that kind of stuff, but in 3D instead of in 2D. And I just want to show you quickly. I mean, this is, I don't know why I'm trying to show this. But these kind of things, they work in 2 dimensions, but you could also make them work in 3 dimensions. You could like displace U by U. Change this to like an add or something. Add top. And then it's obviously going to go way too intensely. Let's put the amplitude at something like this. There, you can get some like random, interesting generative things, which I, by the way, do absolutely all the time with Touchdesigner. But I just wanted to show you, you can do this in Houdini. So what Josef has got going is a system of working with tops in 3D. But if I jump over, where do I keep all my Houdini stuff? What we have here is my early attempts to do this in 3 dimensions. So what we've got here in Houdini is using VDB processes in this solver, and you do various operations on these VDBs, and you can do those same kind of effects that I use in Touchdesigner. So like volume velocity calculating, adding curl noise, and then advecting these two. So adding them these two together, and you get these things that like, let me go back to the start of this. So what you're getting is, as I play this, you can see you've got a 3D system that's sort of growing based on advecting curl noise on this thing that I've created. But as you can see here, it's running really slowly. Like this isn't even close to real time. This is just sort of like an experiment that I wanted to build to see, oh, can you do these techniques in 3 dimensions? And yeah, so you've got a very like rudimentary kind of 3-dimensional system that is expanding here. I did some cooler ones. I don't know if... So this is like reaction diffusion in 3 dimensions. So as you can see, we've got this reaction diffusion thing happening. It's getting quite slow now. Let's stop that. So you can see it looks like classic reaction diffusion patterns. And I'm doing this inside this solver, which is, yeah, a little complex way to do it. But as you can see, if you know reaction diffusion very well, you can see this is a very classic reaction diffusion system. You've got a volume that goes through 2 different blur passes, and then after it goes through those blur passes, one is subtracted from the other, and then this will act as like a multiply or something. I don't know what. No, all right, that volume VOP is like, it sends it all back into the start to redo it again. So you have a blur pass, then some like noise, and then a transform. That's what's making it burst out sideways, and then you got this volume mix, which is subtracting one from the other in a very classic reaction diffusion. But yeah, it's too slow. And so if we jump over to Touchdesigner, which I have two of open for some reason, and we add an operator, this T3D system, so SDF's the sign distance fields, so we're doing the same sort of thing, but in real time. So Josef has kindly made this system available. You can get it on his Patreon. I'll put a link, if I release this, I'll definitely be putting a link in the description to where you guys can get it. But it's basically a bunch of operators that allow you to do these kind of operations, these kind of 3D reaction diffusion, or 3D, basically any kind of standard feedback process, but in real time. Well, hopefully in real time. So what we've got is, this is the surface. So if I just put in a shape, connect this to the surface. All right, we're rendering this, and you'll notice that this looks a lot like the renderings in my Houdini application, because this is not the smoothest. But like if I can scale this up and down, and we're basically got a 3D texture that we can then use. And so I'm going to set up a rendering system. I am sort of just doing this from memory. So camera, and then we need a light. And there is our shape. So the whole idea of this is to make generative complex systems. Well, I'll probably be focusing on two things, because these are the two things that I like doing. One is making brushes, so I'll probably be making some 3D brushes. And then number two is making complex systems, so I'll probably be making complex systems out of this. But this is honestly the first time I've used this set of operators, so I'll just be taking you guys along for the journey, and we'll see what we can make. Okay. So this threshold sort of determines where the computer is detecting the edge of the SDF. So let's just make this, we'll do like 2160 by 2700. Nice little 4x5 Instagram size. I can't tell if I like 4x5 just because it's the Instagram size, or if I just genuinely like that aspect ratio now. I'm going to just turn this back to a normal sphere. Oh, I'm not going to put this here. We'll put this over here, because I need to be able to see my parameters, and you need to be able to see my parameters. All right, so let's put this 1, 1. Now, I think the reason that we're getting like this low resolution look is because we're not using 16-bit float. Nope. All right, it's just going to be the resolution. Let's just bump this. Does 32-bit float help us out? Not really. We can move the light around. And okay. So if we translate this in, you should see a little bit bigger. All right. So I want to do just like to try some basic things. So I haven't tried any of these yet. So what have we got? Shape, cross. I wonder what the cross looks like if we've got two shapes. So we can change this to a box. Maybe scale down this box. Okay, and how does this crossfade look? Okay, that's sort of cool. Sort of like pops out real quick. Not like a perfect. It's more like a Boolean kind of a thing than a proper crossfade and a torus. All right, so let's crossfade. Wonder if the surface threshold affects this. If we put it like high-ish. What happens if we soften this torus? Oh, okay. All right, look at this. That's why we're getting all this hardness. That's a nice smooth torus, right? So if we go onto this and soften this, that's how you get a nice smooth sphere, using the soften. And then I guess we can change the color of this. Do we have to plug this in here? Yeah, okay. And then what happens if we cross like that? All right, so it crossfades color as well as the shape. Don't really love the color, honestly. Let's go back to white. Now it's really dark. Do something like that. All right, so if we're doing like standard processes, like standard 3D, classic 3D, 2D Touchdesigner things, I wonder what happens if we add a noise. This is a 3D noise. And so this looks like it acts exactly the same as a normal noise. So, yep, all right. Here's our noise. And is this... The only annoying thing is being able to tell if these are 32-bit float, but the resolution... Does this change? All right, so it sort of get overridden by that. It doesn't, a lot of these parameters aren't like auto updating. So obviously we can transform this noise. So now it's coming at us. Make this bigger again. So yeah, that's exactly how I expect. Luckily, since we're working in 3D, we're using 4D noise, so we can like do this and have a 4-dimensional transformation in the noise, which is nice. We like that. So these are based exactly on the what am I trying to say? Yeah, based exactly on the tops, as far as I can see. Just the exponent. Get some interesting glitchy results. Can add harmonics. Take away harmonics. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let's try. Oh wait, we can turn monochrome off. Oh, that's interesting. Let's plug this into the color too. Now, what if we, do this? Set the noise coordinates to be based on this sphere. Honestly, it makes for some pretty crazy, interesting things. I like that. So yeah, the function's basically exactly the same as these operators in 2D. So we should be able to take our noise and displace our shape with it. So let's see this displace. And all right, so now we're looking a little bit different to our normal. Okay. All right. So yeah, exactly as we'd expect. What we're noticing is that the offset is to the left. So we want to make this offset to be 0.5. That should be exactly... No, it still goes down to the left. Why is that? If we have monochrome on, does that still happen? Yeah. Because I want it to be displacing purely from the same spot kind of a thing. I just want to see these artifacts. If I increase the resolution, do those artifacts go away? Definitely get better. How high can we go on this resolution? Okay. So now you can see we've got a pretty high resolution, but our frame rate's at like 16. So it seems like, let's go to 256 by 256 by 256. And we've got a solid 60 frames per second there, so that's pretty nice. Okay. So the next thing that we could do would be what if we put this in a wait, actually I want to try and see how we can get if this offset. Oh no, the offset's got to be 0. I was pushing it the wrong way. It was the what do you mean the inputs? What are these inputs? So we're using this T3D set of operators that are for operating using 3D textures in Touchdesigner by Josef Pelz. If you can find them on his Patreon. You can download the tool by subscribing to his Patreon. It's like $8 a month. And so yeah, we're using this sort of unique set of operators to work on making like feedback loops in 3D. So the next thing that I'm thinking, wait, I wonder if we soften this even more. Okay, no. I wonder if we like blur it at the end, because we've got this blur. I'm just trying to get rid of those like wrinkles and stuff. This is hitting the frame rate pretty hard though. I mean, it works definitely, but we're getting drops in the frame rate. Okay. Or maybe we should go down to a lower resolution. Nah, let's leave it fine. It's fine for now. So I wonder what happens if we do a feedback loop then. So, also what happens if we put this in here? Interesting things. Very cool. Oh, and I had this on monochrome. Try something else. Soften it. And then I wonder if this surface thing. Lots of parameters, doing lots of interesting things. Okay, but let's get rid of this. And let's put this all in a feedback loop. I thought there was a feedback in here. Constant displace, distance, limit, math, mat, multiply, noise, point cloud, reorder, shape. Do I just use a normal feedback? I mean, we should be able to. Is that how you do it? You just do a normal feedback? So we want to, and then we want to like an add or a math, limit, distance, displace, cross. Let's try the cross. So if we add this and then this, whoop, and then we put this cross into here. No, this isn't how you do it. You just do a null at the end so that we can use the normal feedback loop. Yeah, I think. Okay, so now okay. So what this is I think it's a feedback loop. But let's like make this displace only a little bit. All right, just to verify this is working, I'm going, oh wait, let's put this cross at like halfway. Okay, no, this is 100% working. So the more we add this in, and if I put in a transform, did something like scale it up. Oh, not rotate. Scale. And then we reset the feedback. Yeah. that even smaller. And then if we push this all the way like that, yeah, it's just going to fill up the whole area. All right, but I don't really like using crosses just because they are like that it sort of limits the reaction to a certain amount. So I want to use threshold transform. I guess we'll use an add. Oh, we're already down to 30 frames per second. Okay. All right, let's go to that cross for now. All right, and let's pulse this feedback. And then we'll turn the displace up. I mean, honestly, maybe we do want to use the constant, the cross, sorry. Just because this is going to get very hard to control. Like we want this displace to be down like really low. And now we want the scale to be like really tiny. Hello, good evening to you too, sir. All right, I'm going to put in let me just put in a keyboard. Use key 2. Null. Just going to use this to pulse the feedback. So right now, obviously, the scale is like way too much. So in 2D feedback loops, we generally are able to control this by putting in like a level here. I mean, wonder what happens if I put a level in. It breaks everything. All right. Okay, can't use a level. So I wonder, I mean, let's put in like a rotate around the y-axis. That could be cool. Too fast. Nice. All right, we got a pretty like solid evolving texture going. So I want to be able to like make this into a more complex system. So I'm wondering if we add another noise and we subtract over here. We've got to subtract. So put this in and then this in and then put this into here. It seems to have added more. Yeah, no real particular. I'm just exploring this new set of the T3D operators. And so I have done like a tiny little bit of this work before in Houdini, like working in 3D feedback loops. But yeah, right now I am just like experimenting and seeing sort of like what I can make here. And I guess my thing would be to like translate ideas I know from 2D feedback loops into these 3D feedback loops to see what's going on, what I can do with them, how this system sort of works. All right, so right now it seems I've got a good way of controlling this by subtracting this noise. So obviously I want this to be a different seed. And maybe a few more harmonics. With Connect or a point cloud, I have no idea. Because you could definitely combine this with a Connect or a point cloud, but there's this point cloud in, but I don't know what this does. Does this take positions and color inputs? I mean, we can pull a point cloud in and see what happens. But you'd have to develop some... Oh, I guess you could work it with a 3D. I wonder if you've got... Can you turn something into a 3D texture? So I've got an Orbeck here. Yeah, it's a new custom component by Josef Pelz. He just released it. So you can find it on his Patreon. It's pretty cool. So all right, so the thing would be that you've got to sort of slice. All right, no, that's all way confusing. So you'd have to slice the incoming point cloud in here into a 3D texture, because it technically already is a 3D texture. I mean, there'd be a way to do it. I don't know if he's put in SDF. What does this do? I think this just generates SDFs. It doesn't have an input. Oh, this is for importing. Wait. Can put in an SDF file. Can you put this in? Surely not. No. If I put in a math. So this is like just my room right now with my Orbeck camera. And I could probably think of a way. Yeah, it is pretty powerful, I think. I'm literally just learning it. But I could probably think of a way to put this all in. All right, let's try a point cloud though. Actually, no, that's probably going to break the computer. There would be a way to slice this into this kind of texture, and I wonder if you all bug Josef, he will build an operator that does that. But I could probably work... Oh, actually, you know... there's a way to do it. You'd probably want to use a texture 3D. Texture 3D would be the way to do it. If you plugged this into here. But this is in time, so that's not what you really want. You want to take a slice at... I can't be bothered doing it right now. It'll make my head hurt. I'm just going to keep playing with the feedback loops for now. We'll get onto this stuff in a second. We'll leave the point cloud over there because I'm going to remember to do that. All right. So I wonder if I replace this noise with another shape and we can have like a cube just like sort of cutting through. And if we add this displace to nothing, what happens? It's just going to keep rotating it and then subtracting. And then this is displacing. All right, so I want to have another one of these T3D shapes. And this is just going to get in the way, so that can hide over there. Let's add a noise. Go TX, TY, TZ. And let's move this around. Well, first of all, let's scale it down. And then let's move it around with this. And that amplitude looks like a little much, so let's bring the harmonics down, the period up, and the amplitude down a little bit. And so let's subtract from this. Use this to subtract instead. Okay. I wonder... So obviously this is subtracting a lot less than the other one. So I wonder if we scale this up, what happens? All right, let's... I wanted to be able to like see the effect that this is happening, and I feel like I can't really see it right now. So let's get rid of the displacement. So no more displacement. Let's get rid of the transform. It'd be great if there was a way to just bypass these. Oh, well. All right, no transform. Now, why is it just sort of moving? I guess like, all right, this is, oh, I get this. This is really big. I want to see this. All right, yeah, this is what I'm trying to look for. All right, let's smooth it out some more. Let's bring the amplitude of this down. Or up. Because I want to see it sort of like cutting apart the other one. Can we just, if we just go add. No, not that add. We need the special add. I just add this and this. Can I see this guy? All right, so we've got something happening. Ideally, I should be able to see like a smaller sphere cutting out from the larger sphere. All right, why don't we reset all of this? Move the center. Increase the softness. Increase the scale. Shouldn't I see two spheres? I feel like there should be two spheres. Well, why did I make this one like red? I don't know why if I add these, I don't get... Okay. All right, this is sort of working. So that is those two added together for sure. So why don't I make this one green? Then if I translate this, make this the same size. Yeah, so I'm subtracting in the feedback loop, then adding after the feedback loop. So I should be able to see, yeah, maybe that's the problem. Let's put this feedback loop back in. Because I want to sort of be cutting. All right, wait, let's reset the feedback loop. And now let's move this down. All right. So what if I bring it forward? Tops and not sops. Yeah. So this is all. Wait. So just search. So if you search that, did I spell his name right? Yeah, Josef Pelz. If you go to his Patreon, that's where you can find this. This is sort of interesting. All right. Surely this is going to get us somewhere. All right, we've got that. And then we're subtracting this other one from it. Okay. So I wonder if I put this noise back on, what would we get? Thank you, mate. Yeah, I want to try to... Oh, this is exactly what I wanted to see. Sorry, wait. I will respond to that in 1 second. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So it's taken a slice out of the sphere that I was looking at before. Right, now... It's exactly what I wanted to see. It's like this one... We've got this sphere, and we've got this other one taking slices out of it. Just like that. Well, I was just trying to do this thing for a while. That's why I got excited. It was like, you know. All right, let's just see it so we can just see that. All right, so now it's taking slices out of the sphere as I wanted it to. It's very smooth though, which is cool. All right, I want it to be smaller though. I want it to go like through the other sphere. I want to see like it go through there like a hole or something. Oh, and you know what is also, you've got this add here. So it's always adding the initial conditions. So if we get rid of this add, this is what it is like. Let's reset the feedback loop. Now I can't see it. Bring the amplitude of this down. I just feel like it's constantly adding to the same thing here, so it's always going to be this sphere, which is not exactly what I want. I you probably need to. I need to probably. All right. Yeah. See. All right. No. It's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Just like that. But is this little dimple here going to get pushed out again? Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to see. All right, nice. So we've got one sphere that's sort of like flying around, and the other one that's getting like subtracted. The other one that stays still is getting subtractions taken out of it by this one. And so you can see it like pushing in. You can see it here. Might play with some rendering. Wait, if I push that way and that way, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. All right. So we can play with the material. Oh, we can do a PBR. Interesting. And a constant. I mean, I guess one of the easiest things to do would be to have a, is that an environment map? An environment light, sorry. Add a environment light. And we change this to PBR. Let's make the roughness full on reflective. All right, this should be interesting if I add the noise displacement. Let's bring the noise displace like really gradually back in. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's looking pretty cool. I guess it reaches a certain limit point where it can't move anymore. Just switch this out for this noise again. So now we're subtracting a noise that is on a different and then a different evolving noise from the whole thing. I wonder if anti-aliasing would help a little here. Turn up the anti-aliasing. I don't know if I saw much of a difference there. I wonder if this can cast shadows too. Let's put in a grid. Let's make it big. push it back a bit. And then let's put it on its own geo. That's not what I meant to do. Why is this not working? Usually if I middle click here and add a geometry. Is that a glitch of some kind? That's weird. Usually if you middle click. Alright, let's maybe reset this camera. Something like that. Okay. Oh, God damn it. Can I reset from here? No. Yeah, reset all parameters. There we are. And, alright, this light turn shadows on. Yeah, it casts shadows. Very low resolution shadows currently. Let's bring this up a bit. And let's bump these to 4096. Still sort of low res. Let's reset. Cool though. Nobody, yeah, everybody keeps asking me if I have an image in my head. I absolutely do not. I'm just totally trying to play with techniques that I know from 2D feedback in the 3D feedback space. Like set up loops that sort of look like what I want them to. So yeah, just trying random techniques and making them work. All right, we offset this. Might go back to our thing before. All right, no, this displaces 0. Oh no, this shape is still in here. I see. Nice. Oh, it does sort of like heal its problems. All right, so that's interesting. I'm gonna start building these out. So I'm just gonna save this and experiments. Call this 3D feedback. And see, that's what I wanted. Like, you just like have it going through, like making holes all the way through it. Oh crap. Oh. I didn't know I was accessing all the things at that time. All right. No. So I'm going to encapsulate all of this. What are we going to call this? Like subtraction system. Copy and paste it. Let's do like a growth system. So oh, thanks, babe. I'm glad you liking the work. Clubs in Spain sound fun. You do like VJing and stuff? All right. I did notice. Let's get rid of all this. I still want to keep this feedback loop, but I'm going to get rid of all of that. So what I noticed was there was a I wonder if we start with noise, actually. So I want like a really sparse kind of noise that then goes into this feedback loop, and then oh, what are you mad about? Okay. Actually, you know what I'm going to do also is I've got this little 3D multi-purpose viewer. And this, we don't need the screen space ambient occlusion. Let's just double this resolution. Oh, I'm so glad that I can inspire you, mate. Yeah, I sort of just like live streaming whatever I'm working on at the moment, so hopefully give people an idea of what I do. And all right, this is a bit nicer, isn't it? I don't know if we really need to see the background so much. Oh, also, this is way too much anti-aliasing. Let's go like 16 times medium. And then I want this camera to be not so crazily wide. Make it like 70. And let's double this resolution. And then the one thing I wanted to do, we don't need this to render twice. Don't need this camera anymore. We don't need that sky dome. Okay. So two five six by 256 by 256. So I think because this feedback loop is sort of adding to itself, I might just skip the feedback loop for a second. So there's no add in the feedback loop. Actually, I might skip the whole thing entirely. So here's our noise. We're going to want to go not monochrome, I think. Put the offset to something like that. Right, I only want like the tiniest little amount because we're going to use this as a thing to do like a growth system. So in this feedback loop, we're going to use our slope. So this is just like the slope top. Hopefully just like the slope top. If it's not like the slope top, it'll be confusing. My mouse is also playing up a bit, so that's better. So we're going to use the slope and we're going to displace this. By the slope. And we should get a very classic feedback system where we get this expansion sort of happening. I'm going to set this to 0. Now, why does that happen? This feedback. If I reset it, and this display should be doing nothing, just adding it to itself adds a little bit of something, doesn't it? I wonder if we try this with like the cross or something. Point cloud reorder cross between that and that. Okay. Let's get rid of that ad for now. All right, so now nothing's happening because there's no addition going on, which is fine. But what we want to do is we want to turn this displace up. That was too much, obviously. All right. Now, yeah, we've got exactly what you'd expect. So it's growing. Oh, it's growing really nicely, actually. This is really cool. And we could change the seed of this noise. It's going to grow out of different areas. It's looking real nice. Eventually, I suppose it will fill up the whole thing. So I wonder if we can use a multiply. Don't really need to see this background right now. So I wonder if we can use a like a math, because like usually I'd use the level of something, but if we use a math, maybe we can multiply it by. Let's just see what happens if we multiply it by. All right, so we got to try and find an equilibrium here. Because I don't want it just turning into a cube like this, as cool as this is. I want to multiply it by like something a little less. I mean, let me try just making this strength go right down. Okay. That sort of ends things, though. We don't want that. I mean, once again, we want something to be able to, like, cut out of this. But I wonder if we do it a different way this time. We do it like the noise, but we try multiplying it with the noise. I don't think this math is going to help us very much. So let's do a noise. And then we just multiply this by this. And we get 64 by 64. So let's reset this. Put the offset like that. No, offset like that. Okay, so now we've got this kind of growth. But through a noise system, which is sort of cool. So you see, it's only going to grow in the areas that the noise is allowing it to grow. That's cool. I want to know if I can change this to, all right, nearest pixel. Let's go. Oh, now this is cool. Now we're getting something sort of interesting. What is going on here? And what happens if we translate this? Okay, let's try and get this right by using interpolate pixels. So we want this to be a little bit more sparse, I think. So bring this offset down a bit. And let's transform this to okay, getting sort of interesting, but I think there's still more we can do here. So what if we change this to nearest pixel now? All right, getting some pretty complex ass structures. All right, I wonder if we mess around with this surface, we can get some more interesting looks. Sort of cool. Might be cooler if I had a better, better. What am I trying to say? A better environment map. Any more of them with Touchdesigner? This is the only 360. Oh, I've got this, wait. 360, the Palace of Fine Arts. What is this? That's nothing. No videos, so. All right, we'll keep it with Cloudy Ocean. Oh, I wonder how the reflection probably look pretty cool with this. Should bring this like right up to the edge. And bring the light, this light. Why does it flick like that? I don't know about Don, but I'm definitely back at it. We'll go back to the interpolate. And then I just always want to change it back to nearest pixel. I guess I could just have it keep flicking between the two. This is pretty cool. Not that. That. All right, let's try something else. Let's try like a brush. I feel like a brush would be cool. All right. I'm really not trying to make anything. I'm just sort of trying to experiment with 3D feedback because Josef Pelz just released like this new system called T3D, which is working with like feedback in 3 dimensions. I'm pretty sure he has a tutorial on how to do this already. Like a trail, but I'm gonna make my own and see like what we can do. Okay, well, we're not going to start with noise. We're going to start with a shape. And we'll soften it again. Make it bigger. All right, it's gone all weird because it's gone in the feedback loop, but well, I don't do this full time, but yeah, I do Touchdesigner. Like I'm a full-time artist, basically. Just make art and see what kind of cool stuff I can make with it, and yeah, sell art to people, do Touchdesigner jobs for people, that kind of stuff is my full-time job. All right, so very basic brush. If I just animate this, I think this should work with a noise. TX, TY, TZ. So we want to be moving the shape around just like this. How long did I do this before I could live of it? It's a good question. I've been doing it for 5 years now. So I guess maybe I've been doing it for like 6 years. I think probably took me about 3 years before I could live off it, I guess. But like I always were, like I came from music first, and I always knew how to do music first, and so I was always doing music stuff all the time, and that's how I was paying the bills for a while. So it's like, okay. All right, so the feedback loop this is really funny because this is what happens when you run a feedback loop too quickly, is you don't get to see the full path. Yeah, well, I did like film scoring and stuff like that, which is a bit of an easier path to making money if you're sort of good at it. So but I was like studying for a long time too. All right, so this is jumping around like crazy, and I need to slow you down. All right. And it's also going outside the range of this thing. Okay, so here we go. We've got like a sphere with a trail behind it. So this is like our brush. Now I need to work out like a 3D kind of system to... Oh, sculpting with this could be quite cool too. I never thought of that. Right, let's increase the resolution. Yeah, I mean my first clients all came from Instagram. So my first few clients, it was always like me posting my art on Instagram, and then people would see it and they liked it, and then they'd want to hire me for things, and that's basically how all the first clients came apart. Was Instagram. They would like hit me up to do projects. My advice. Glad you're liking it. My advice is honestly to like post your stuff on Instagram and see what you can do from there. Okay. So we've got this little brush thing happening, which is very cool. I like it. It looks really nice when it like intersects and joins. Yeah, this is all just noise right here. So we've just got TX, TY, TZ noise moving this thing around, and then a feedback loop capturing it and turning it into what it is. So now we might look into doing the classic thing of just displacing this with some more noise. Add some more noise. I'm going to put this in here. Oh, all right. The output was always just going to be the noise. That's good. I wondered if I'd had the settings wrong totally from now on, but this looks nice. What do you mean projected in 3D? Like with like a 3D fan or something? That could be pretty cool. Or like you could do it in VR, but I don't know, VR's a bit lame. Maybe one of those fan things. We just need real holograms is what we need. Okay. So if we use this noise and then a displace, we're going to put that on a tiny, tiny bit. Plug this in. All right, so it's not doing anything because I didn't add any of the displace yet. But if I add the little bit of strength here, you're going to get it displacing. It's all moving sideways. Noise offset needs to be 1, I think. Or 0. 0, I think, is the best. Now we're getting a bit more interesting shapes happening. Only a slight displacement of that noise. So I wonder if we turn up the harmonics. And then slowly animate this noise. I don't really love that it like creates holes. I wonder if we change this displace. We change this to nearest pixel. It's not doing much displacing. All right, this is getting a bit funky. I think it's probably got too many harmonics. Oh, and this is monochrome. We don't want it to be monochrome. Yeah, that's better. Interesting. So, yeah, all right. So this is cool. Wait, let me just see this without the Fong shit happening. I mean, the PBR shit happening. Let's change this to Fong. All right, let's change it back to PBR. But let's make it non-metallic. Yeah, we can see things easier. Okay, because you get to a certain threshold for this to work. I think we need to increase the resolution. We're at 128 by 128. So let's go to 256 by 256. Okay. So I think what we want to do is we want to try and put in a limit here. Clamp these. It's really annoying not being able to like, what does the distance do? That looks like interesting. Because we've got these displacements and they work and they're displacing, but they're displacing too much, you know? Maybe not. That's sort of cool looking. Like the speed at which this is all going is a little too much. So if I can limit this, .4, 0.3. Oh, that's not going to do nothing. 0.1. 0.4. All right, 0.1. 0.1 means no displacement. 0.2. All right, so we're basically hitting the limit of like these pixel thingies. This is looking sort of cool. So it might be a good time for me to like show this on Instagram. Let everybody on Instagram know that I'm live streaming. Where's my phone? Okay. All right. Let me just set this up. So leave it running. Copy this link. How do I share this? Share. All right. All right. I got to let people on Instagram know that I'm streaming. So we'll be back to this in a second. And drop the linky link. All right. So this is actually looking sort of cool. I'm liking this. I like this kind of feedback style with the nearest pixel kind of stuff. And this is working quite nicely. I wonder if we can add some colors. Because it'd be cool to have the colors working like this. So let's try try a ramp. Actually, no, let's just do it with noise to start off with. So let's just go a 1x1 square of noise. Non-monochrome. And we'll go top 2. So fill color on here. Okay. So now we're starting to get color coming through here. So if we just plug this into here, starting to get some colors happening. Now, I don't love the kind of contagion effect. So we're getting that smoothness. I wonder if we get rid of all the smoothness. If we can avoid that kind of contagion kind of a look. First thing I'm going to try is using this T surface. Oh damn, that looks cool sometimes, though, doesn't it? Sort of like glowy. And then you get really square from the inside out. Yeah, that'd be crazy. All right, this is looking hectically cool, but only when the light's hitting it. And it's not giving me the color that I really want, so try it like that. This is looking good. I'm just gonna make sure everything's on smoothness. All right, there's no input smoothness there, but there is here, I bet. Change this to nearest pixel. This is already going to be nearest pixel, and let's just change that to nearest pixel. The rest of it should already be on nearest pixel. All right, I want my sphere to be multicolored. I wonder if I can do that. Because we're getting these big blocks of color, but I want smaller blocks of color. I I bet we can do it by add blur constant. Constant? No, displace, distance limit, math, multiply noise, point cloud, reorder. What if I did a noise? Plug this in to both. Then we're going to get some individual pixels, but I want to multiply the colors, but not multiply the... What's going on in here? Oh wait, if I use a multiply, prefit overlay, extend overlay, transform. Damn. I don't know if there's an easy way to like add the noise just to the color. Math, multiply noise, point cloud, reorder. Threshold, transform. Damn, I don't think there is. All right. We might have to do something a little crazy then. All right, first of all, I'm going to grab a color scheme from Color Schemes app and put it into a ramp. Actually, I'm going to put it into 5 constants. Now, this is going to be a silly way of doing it, but constant. I'm going to make 5 of these. And the first one. Color 1. Color 2 is color 3 is just going to be white. Color 4. And this color is going to be okay. I'm going to put this into a switch. And then I'm going to put in a pattern. So basically I'm going to change the color every frame, which seems a bit silly, but it might work. Random non-impeding integers. Length is going to be 1. 0 to 4. And so I just got to hit this every second. Because yeah, I don't like these like gradients that keep coming in. The other thing that I'm going to try is probably my I've got this shader that uses makes things look like sketches. All right, so I just got to hit this every time. So we're just going to put in a constant. call it abs time dot not frame dot frame. And we'll put a logic on when value changed. Put in a null. And then we're just gonna hit this. And then this is gonna go into here. And it's gonna change every frame. So let's change these all to be one by one. So this looks like a terrible failure. Oh my god, it doesn't work in the slightest. Oh dear. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna just want these to be black and white then. I also wonder if I bring the alpha down, what does that do? We're getting these like tiny little guys. It does have a sort of like interesting way when it comes in.